got PD outside not coming in.
Hey, calm down so I can really hear what they're doing. The same people in cardiac arrest.
Departure for 8, December 28, 1991. We get nowhere fast.
My brother Dirk died at the Heavy D Puff Daddy celebrity basketball game. From that day on, a part of me died. Since the day after the funeral, I was on a mission.
My name is Jay Swain.
A mission to figure out what happened and why it happened.
The camera looking at me, I'm looking at y'all,
Because he was special to me. Remember that night like it was yesterday.
It just seemed like the week after the funeral, it was like back to regular business. Like, this was not a small thing.
I think that somebody needs to say something in reference to these police officers.
Discretion TV family, I had to take this video down and put it back up for the Discretion TV family in Pakistan, Bangladesh, India, Afghanistan that need to see the truth. YouTube tried to block this video in your country, so I took the honor and privilege to put it right back up.
Puffy getting robbed like a bitch. To hide that fact, he did some shit he shouldn't have did, so we riding for that.
Is rap music killing your kids?
It's not the rapper's fault that stuff happens at these concerts. It's the audience. The audience should know not to go to a concert with a gun.
9 kids are dead. When they're white, you get more police protection. You get more everything. People take better care of them than they do us.
A year has passed since the CCNY tragedy, but people have not forgotten what happened, including the event's promoter, 22-year-old Sean Puffy Combs. He was cited in the New York City Deputy Mayor's report for failing to adequately alert student organizers to the need for strong security and crowd control.
You, no matter where you live, I'm sure, have heard about the tragedy here in New York City, what started as a benefit basketball game featuring rap stars, turning into the worst nightmare imaginable. Thousands of excited teenagers and other young people crushed into a suffocating heap at the bottom of a staircase.
Since then, Combs has maintained a low profile in the press, which he feels has wrongly portrayed him.
I'm famous for, like, the kid in their minds who threw the tragic City College.
At City College, leaving 9 dead and almost 30 others severely injured.
And that's kind of hard for me sometimes to live with.
Now, in the swirl of media attention, blame has shifted all over the map. You have college officials claiming that if they had known it was a rap event, they never would have allowed it because of the unruly crowds.
In the first couple of days when it happened, there was nobody to really answer for what was going on, you know what I'm saying?
But who was responsible? Was it the music itself and these crowds that rap draws? Was it inadequate police protection, negligence by the college?
So I think the media and everybody was trying to figure out why this happened.
Fraud on the part of the promoters, a crowd that some say behaved like a beast. Fraud on the part of the promoters, fraud on the part of the promoters.
So I think the media and everybody was trying to figure out why this happened.
Even robbing the dead.
Rapper Heavy D, who's managed by Combs and co-hosted the ill-fated event, says that Combs is a good kid who deserves all the success he's achieved in '92, despite its dismal beginning. Recently, Combs was promoted to Vice President of Artist Development at Uptown Records.
Fraud on the part of the promoters, even robbing the dead.
I decided to change my name again. I'm just not who I am before. I'm something different. So my new name is Love, a.k.a. Brother Love.
No one feels the pain, the sorrow of this tragedy more than the families of the 9 young people who died.
A year has passed since the CCNY tragedy, but people have not forgotten what happened, including the event's promoter, 22-year-old Sean Puffy Combs. He was cited in the New York City Deputy Mayor's report for failing to adequately alert student organizers to the need for strong security and crowd control.
I will not be answering to Puffy, Diddy, Puff Daddy, or any of my other monikers, but Love or Brother Love, okay?
Joining us are the parents and relatives of 3 of the dead young people. Yul Dargan, a youngster, 24 years old, with his whole life in front of him. Leonard Nelson, just 17 years old. The kid was headed for glory, captain of the football team, the baseball team, senior in high school with a full college tuition scholarship coming his way next year. Darren Brown, an aspiring rap artist himself, just 28 years old.
What I hear, it was so jam-packed, and it was very, very difficult to get the door open.
Talk to the parents, because again, it is their story. Mr. and Mrs. Nelson, I just described Leonard's prospects. I wonder, in the midst of your loss, and believe me, ladies and gentlemen, we suffer, and to the extent that it is our ability to do so, we feel your pain. But what a loss, what a terrible loss, a 17-year-old kid heading to the stars. Do you feel bitterness in your heart, Mr. Nelson? Do you blame someone specifically? Who's responsible for this loss?
You know, this man is really trying to turn us against each other and put us in a situation.
In this particular case, greed and gain were major issues in the loss of those 9 lives.
Well, everybody's responsible, from the promoters to the university, to the police department, to the paramedics. It's enough blame to go around. None of them did their job. None of them. No excuses. None of them did their job. And because of that, 9 kids are dead.
21 gun salute to all my real soldiers out there. Discretion TV, capo status, Valentino checking in. So it took Diddy 9 years to settle this case out. This is how you know, in the settlement lawsuit for the wrongful deaths, here you go, May 25th. So as you can see, it's damn near the anniversary for this. It came and went. And it's just funny how the numbers is just weird. May 25th, as we know, we lost George Floyd, the legendary George Floyd. Yo, Diddy settled out secretly, and remember, in the year 2000, it took him 9 years. This happened in 91. In the year 2000, you got to remember who Diddy was, that J-Lo case with Shine and all that shit. And let's dig a little deeper, Discretion TV style. It took him 9 years. 9 people died. Those 9s upside down to 6s, man. Y'all got to keep your eyes on the devil, man. Satan. When Satan rock you to sleep, Satan rock you to sleep, man. Them 9s are 6s, man. Don't get it twisted. Them upside down 6s, man. Let's continue.
What about the feeling, and I've seen this expressed in the Associated Press and elsewhere, that the crowd itself became a beast that was consuming itself, bum rushing the door, crushing other youngsters without regard for the safety of the people in front?
True, but the promoters, they knew this would happen, or they knew it was a good chance something like this would have happened, and they supposed to took every precaution necessary to make sure if something did happen like this, they would be prepared for it, but they didn't.
Seen them dragging people in and pulling them to the side. I seen people, brothers and sisters, get together like I've never seen before. And I'm sorry for the families that suffered this, because I feel it more than I can possibly express it to you.
What about rap music itself? Do you think the music form is inherently kind of geared toward generating violence?
In a way, but it shouldn't be banned, because all you have to do is take the proper precautions to make sure things like this don't happen. You know how black kids going to act once they get together, and all these celebrities that's going to be there, they want to see them, they look up to them. So it's their responsibility to make sure that there's proper security there and these things don't happen, because there's a chance that something is going to happen. They know this.
You got to understand, America messed up. They flooded the hood with guns. So I don't know this notion of we don't have guns.
Do you think, and this is a very controversial point, I want you to really listen to my question very carefully. Do you think that black youngsters behave differently than white youngsters in a crowd?
No, I don't. I don't think they do. If you put a bunch of white kids together, something's going to happen. But just that when they're white, you get more police protection. You get more everything. People take better care of them than they do us.
And so I feel the way we can stop us from getting to that point of violence.
Deputy Mayor's report for failing to adequately alert student organizers to the need for strong security and crowd control. Since then, Combs has maintained a low profile in the press, which he feels has wrongly portrayed him.
But who was responsible? Was it the music itself and these crowds that rap draws? Was it inadequate police protection, negligence by the college, fraud on the part of the promoters, a crowd that some say behaved like a beast, even robbing the dead?
This whole thing is set up even at my level, you know what I'm saying? Even at the level of hip hop. You know, things are set up to try to stop us from growing and being as great as we want to be. So the same thing with Revolt. I had to go and really go to war with all of the distributors.
In this particular case, greed and gain were major issues in the loss of those 9 lives.
I'm coming out. What does that say?
I don't know about all that. Well, he's probably coming outside since Suge's in jail now. That's probably, that's what that's about. I'm coming. Looked outside.
Niggas
Stampeded hip-hop celebrity basketball game. It was on this date in 1991 that a hip-hop celebrity basketball game held in New York City turned violent, leaving a total of 9 casualties due to the event being oversold. Headlining the event was rap artist Heavy D, as well as quite a few other big names in the industry at that time such as Run DMC and Big Daddy Kane. Also, one of the organizers was none other than Sean Puff Daddy Combs, who was completely unknown at that point in his career. The gymnasium where the event was scheduled to be held only had a capacity of 2,730 people, and according to later reports given by Combs, they claimed to have only sold 2,150 tickets. However, on the night of the event, more than 3,000 people showed up claiming they had paid the $420 for admission. When the crowd was told that the venue was at capacity, they got extremely unruly and started to try and force their way in. This resulted in 9 victims being trampled to death and as many as 28 more severely injured. The justice system ended up placing 50% of the blame on both the promoters of the event, Puff Daddy and Heavy D, as well as the City University of New York, who owned the building.
At 11:07 p.m. on the 20th of February 2003, at the Station Nightclub in West Warwick, Rhode Island, pyrotechnics used as part of a concert by the hard rock band Great White set fire to acoustic foam surrounding the stage. The flames spread with incredible speed. As patrons rushed to escape, exits became jammed. All in all, 100 people lost their lives, and hundreds more were injured and traumatized, all in the space of just a few short minutes. The fire started just seconds into the band's opening song. Pyrotechnics designed to create a controlled shower of sparks had been set up on either side of the stage. 2 fountains were directed straight up, and 2 were angled off at 45 degrees. As Great White took to the stage and launched into their song Desert Moon, tour manager Daniel Bichel triggered these pyrotechnics. It was the angled fountains that were principally responsible for igniting the acoustic foam which surrounded the stage. Video of the incident shows the fire taking hold, reaching the ceiling in a matter of seconds. Patrons were initially slow to evacuate. This may have been because they believed that the fire was part of the act. The music video for the song, which the band were playing, showed the musicians surrounded by flames. Not long after the pyrotechnics ended, though, the band ceased to play, and the lead vocalist, Jack Russell, calmly spoke into the microphone while looking at the blaze. "That's not good," he said. The band members fled the nightclub via an exit beside the stage. Realizing the danger they were in, the crowd began to evacuate as well. The Station nightclub had several exits, but most patrons were unfamiliar with the layout of the building, and so flocked towards the main entrance and exit. The narrow corridor leading up to this door was swiftly jammed with bodies. 462 people were in the building when the fire began, 58 more than the venue's official capacity. In the chaotic rush to escape, many people were trampled. The main exit became clogged completely with bodies, with patrons wedged in so tight that even those who had already escaped couldn't pull them free. In addition to the deaths caused by crushing and trampling, many also died from smoke inhalation. The acoustic foam gave off a dense, opaque, toxic smoke when it burned, which not only made it extremely difficult to navigate the building, but also caused death after just a few breaths. In total, 100 people died on scene as a result of crush-related injuries, smoke inhalation, and from burns from the fire itself. Among the dead were Ty Longley, the lead guitarist of Great White. It is reported that he initially escaped unscathed, but, miscalculating the severity of the fire, returned to the building to try and rescue his guitar. Ty Longley was the only member of the band to perish in the fire. The other members of Great White escaped through a door adjacent to the stage, a door which at least some audience members were prevented from using by a bouncer who stated adamantly that the exit was for the band only. With so many dead and the nightclub destroyed, thoughts turned to who to blame for the disaster. The nightclub owners said they did not give permission for the band to use pyrotechnics. Band members claimed they did have permission. Meanwhile, an investigation revealed that fire safety inspectors should long ago have demanded the installation of a sprinkler system into the ancient building. The two brothers who owned the nightclub and Great White's manager were charged with 200 counts of manslaughter each, 2 for each victim, as it was alleged that they had committed both criminal negligence manslaughter and misdemeanor manslaughter. While the nightclub owners pleaded not guilty, Great White's manager, Daniel Bichelle, pled guilty, stating that he wished the investigation to be over quickly so that the families of the victims could achieve closure. Bichelle was sentenced to 4 years in prison, with an additional suspended sentence. Many of the families of the deceased were supportive of him, with some even writing letters that noted their forgiveness and asking for him to be freed from prison. He was released after serving just 2 years in jail. The two nightclub owners were given similar sentences, with one of them facing 4 years in jail and the other 3 years of probation. The difference in their sentences was down to the different levels of responsibility they each had for the purchase and installation of the flammable foam. Numerous civil suits worked their way slowly through the courts, with the largest resulting in a settlement of $25 million from a company that manufactured the foam. 5 months after the fire, Great White went on a benefit tour. They began each set with a prayer for those who had lost their lives in the fire, and donated a portion of their proceeds to a fund to support the surviving relatives. For many years, they refused to play the song they had been playing when the fire began, but eventually added it to their repertoire again in 2009. The site of the fire was cleared, and survivors and loved ones of the deceased left numerous crosses as memorials to the dead. A permanent memorial was eventually erected on the site, and it is now a park which sees a memorial service on the 20th of February each year. While the fire was a terrible and costly one, it did result in an almost instant improvement in fire safety across the board. A moratorium was placed on the use of pyrotechnics in small venues, and many nightclubs undertook programs of rapid improvement to bring their premises up to code. While the 100 music lovers who died during the station nightclub fire might have died unnecessarily, their deaths, at least, were not in vain.
There was more devastation and gut-wrenching grief today in Romania following a deadly fire at a nightclub in Bucharest. At least 27 people were killed and nearly 200 injured when the special effects at a concert apparently sparked a fire. Barry Peterson has the story.
First responders found survivors dazed. 1 minute, they were part of a crowd of up to 400 in a nightclub at a free heavy metal concert. Then, in literally seconds, they were fleeing for their lives. They suffered from smoke inhalation and leg injuries from the stampede that became a crush to get out the one exit. Many didn't make it. They trampled each other and burned alive, said the survivor. It was carnage. These pictures show the fireworks used by the heavy metal band Goodbye to Gravity that apparently ignited polystyrene decorations on a pillar, then flames roared across the ceiling. It was eerily familiar to the 2003 fire in America at the Station Nightclub in Rhode Island that killed 100. Like last night's blaze, many died because they could not escape the flames. Doctors at Bucharest hospitals said it was like dealing with casualties of war. The first ambulance at one hospital had 20 people crammed inside. Calls went out for blood donors who hurried to give. Frantic parents gathered outside hospitals. Many victims, some as young as 14, carried no identification, leaving parents desperately trying to find their children alive or dead. Barry Peterson, CBS News, London.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Breaking news out of Manchester, England tonight. A deadly blast outside of an Ariana Grande concert, killing at least 22, injuring at least 59. Police treating this as a terrorist incident. The leading theory, a suicide bomber. We turn now to ABC's chief foreign correspondent, Terry Moran in London. Terry.
Byron, it was right at the end of the Ariana Grande concert tonight in a stadium filled with her fans, including so many teens and young girls and their moms. That's her fan base. When this huge explosion rocked not just the arena, but the whole surrounding neighborhood. It felt blocks away. Arena officials saying that the explosion happened just outside the venue as people were coming and going. Eyewitnesses saw many dead and injured on the ground. Inside, the lights went up. Panic set in. People headed for the exits. They helped the wounded, they helped each other get out as law enforcement swarmed the scene and set up a perimeter. Anguished parents took to social media looking for their loved ones. Tonight, Manchester police are investigating this as a major terrorist incident, and the city is on edge. Byron?
Terry Moran, thank you. Tonight, eyewitnesses describing a scene of panic, a night that was supposed to be about music and fun. That's the sound of the explosion that rocked Manchester, England tonight.
Oh my God. What's going on? What just happened? What's going on? Oh my God!
An unidentified blast outside the Manchester arena, bringing bloodshed to an Ariana Grande concert. 22 confirmed dead, including children, and 59 injured.
We had a bang and I just run for my life.
Big flash and then a whoosh of air and just thought, what the hell's that?
And all I could hear was screaming, people crying, everyone was just running everywhere. It was completely madness.
Authorities say a single attacker detonated an IED, causing the mayhem.
Just take your time and keep exiting the building. We are grieving today, but we are strong. Today, it will be business as usual, as far as possible, in our great city.
And British Prime Minister Theresa May calling this an appalling terrorist attack.
So there was a lot of screaming and a lot of parents trying to sort their families together.
There's a lot of children were there without parents. There was no one to calm them down, so everybody was just screaming and crying and pushing.
Shocking what happened, like, it's just carnage everywhere.
The ground shook. It was like bang, bang.
Panic concert goers sprinting to the exits after the boom. Authorities rushing to the scene.
We're working closely with National Counter-Terrorism Policing Network and UK intelligence partners. This is clearly a very concerning time for everyone.
The concert began at 7:35 p.m. local time, part of the pop singer's Dangerous Woman tour. The crowded arena, one of the largest in Europe with over 20,000 seats, was packed near capacity, according to witnesses. Ivo Delgado Rivero was in attendance.
Everything was going perfectly. And then the concert finished quite abruptly, and then the lights came out, and everyone started to go to the exits.
At around 10:33 p.m., after the concert had ended, fans in the arena, surrounded by pink balloons, heard a loud noise.
Ariana Grande had left. The lights had come up, Everybody was just getting out of the seats and walking towards the stairs when all of a sudden this huge sound, which sounded like an explosion, went off.
As I was waiting, an explosion went off and it threw me through the first set of doors, about 30 foot to the next set of doors. When I got up and looked round, there was about 30 people scattered everywhere. Some of them looked dead.
Then we hear a loud bang, and everyone started running to the opposite direction. We opened the door going on the main corridor. It was full of smoke, so we were trying not to push, and everyone was trying really to protect the kids.
That police dash cam video capturing a faint flicker of light and a loud noise.
Just take your time and keep exiting the building. There's no need to bunch up and run. Take your time.
The PA announcer trying to prevent a stampede, reassuring the crowd to keep calm. Many in attendance, children and teens. The chaos spilling into the streets of Manchester, just over 160 miles from London. Family and friends taking to Twitter, posting dozens of photos, searching for missing loved ones. Charlotte Campbell says her 15-year-old daughter, Olivia, hasn't been heard from in hours.
I don't know if she's going to walk back through the door or not. I feel sick to the bottom of my stomach. And I love her so much and I just want her home.
Local hotels reportedly taking in children separated from their chaperones. Several hours later, police alerting those nearby of a potential secondary item and to stay clear as it was destroyed in a controlled explosion.
Let me just tell you where we are. As I was saying before, this is all fake.
Authorities later confirming it was abandoned clothing, not a suspicious item. Tonight, just the latest incident to shake Europe, Manchester adding to the growing list of cities threatened by terrorism. The United Kingdom has been on high alert since last March after the attack in London near the House of Parliament. 52-year-old Khalid Massoud drove a car into pedestrians on a bridge before exiting and fatally stabbing a policeman. 4 people were killed. Representatives for Grande confirmed tonight that the singer is unharmed. Tonight she tweeted, "From the bottom of my heart, I am so sorry. I don't have words." The support online reaching around the globe. The message, pray for Manchester. The investigation continues. Emergency services still working the scene as day breaks on this somber city.
And for more, we now turn to former New York City Police Commissioner Ray Kelly and former National Security official Richard Clark. Gentlemen, we've had these conversations too many times before. Where do you think law enforcement was focusing their attention at this hour?
Oh, there's a lot of things that they're focusing on. Obviously, the suicide bomber, the body of the bomber is going to give them an awful lot of information. A lot of forensic work will be done trying to collect information to see any signature on the bomb. Cameras are ubiquitous these days. They'd be looking at cameras. Any informants that they have that might be able to give them real-time information. Any ongoing investigations that may or may not have involved this individual or someone close to him.
Are there any fingerprints of who this might lead to, you think, organization-wise?
Well, once they know who it was, they will check the cell phone, mobile phone records. They'll check the internet records, and they'll do a web. They'll go out to say, who is his friend? Who is he talking to? Who is he talking to? The 3rd and 4th level. And they'll try to find out, is there an ongoing threat? Is there an ongoing network that could do it again?
A public place, yes, another soft target. But this seems different. This involved a concert where there were young girls. They were with their moms, young families, teenage girls. This seems different to me.
Maybe. Or it just might have been the venue that's in this city. It's a big 21,000 capacity stadium. So it just might have been the target of opportunity. But that will come out, hopefully, in the investigation as to why this target was picked.
And what we saw here was you can take a venue and you can lock it down. You can pat everyone down. You can make everyone go through magnetometers. But just outside that perimeter, there are going to be lots of people. And those people are a target.
Does this point to ISIS, you think? I know it's early on.
Hey, you have investigated premises, and this is something that obviously you put into the equation, but you don't want to rule anything in or out at this juncture.
But this is the kind of thing that ISIS teaches. Go for the soft target. Go for just outside the perimeter. Go for the individual who's activated and told online how to build a bomb.
Yeah.
Richard Clark, Ray Kelly, gentlemen, thank you so much.
If it's 10:30 p.m. on May 22nd, Ariana Grande had just finished her sold-out concert for 20,000 at Manchester Arena.
People don't pay attention to like what's happening inside. You know, I'm so sorry. I'm falling apart. Wanting to.
Are you scared to go to London?
That they win. No.
Are you scared to go to London?
Nope.
That's a powerful statement.
I'm a powerful. Ariana's my sister. I love her, and I love the people of the UK, and I'm devastated by the news. It's heartbreaking.
Okay, so Travis Scott released a new single called Escape Plan the day of his AstroWorld incident. You can see here in the music video that he's wearing a Pearljam t-shirt, but something that stood out to me was the subtleness of the shirt. Like, it looks like he's trying to hide it. I slowed it down here so you could see the t-shirt. But I did some research on Pearljam, and I came across the Roskilde tragedy. There was 50K fans waiting to see Pearljam. There was also 50K fans waiting to see Travis Scott. 8 people died at the Roskilde tragedy, and 8 people died at the AstroWorld Festival. The Roskilde tragedy happened in the year 2000. This is where things start to get real crazy, though. Check out Pearljam's artwork on their merch from their 2000 tour. But this shit is crazy to me because the number 8 plays such a big role in all of this, and I'm not really sure how. Look at the eyeball in the center, okay? And then, boom, eyeball right there. Wait for it to zoom out. Damn, that's 8 flames coming off the stage right there. Mind you, his set only looked like this while he was performing his new song, Escape Plan. All of this ties in.
So moving my computer, like fixing, yeah, this guy does this, and then basically, on my computer, I just couldn't be the cube.
I'm sure most of you have heard about the incident that happened in Travis Scott's concert last week. This incident was not an incident, it was a planned blood sacrifice for Satan. Some people have been told that some people entered the concert and injected drugs into the neck of guards and some other people that were in the concert. The concert happened when moon was in Scorpio, in new moon in Scorpio. Normally the Satanists do blood sacrifice for Satan and they kill innocent people when the moon is a new moon or is a full moon, or moon is in Scorpio or moon is in Capricorn. This happened several years ago in Paris in Ariana Grande's concert by ISIS too. ISIS is Satanist and related to Satanists because 99% of their terror attacks has been happened during moon in Scorpio or new moon or full moon. And it proves that it's already planned based on position of moons. Then this incident was a blood sacrifice by Satanists. And Hollywood celebrities, most of them belong to the Church of Satan. Don't follow them, don't go to their concerts, don't make them famous, don't be a slave to Satan.
It just felt like we was like literally like in fucking hell, bro. Like it felt like we was in a concert in hell. You couldn't breathe, you couldn't see. Like just imagine all the people they gonna find tonight who was in that crowd, who nobody could see, who nobody could hear, who passed out, and everybody was just trampling on top of them the whole fucking concert. Like I'm thinking it's probably gonna be like at least 100 people who dead tonight. Like I kid you not. Like in the VIP section, it was so many bodies laid out. People was getting pulled out who was fainted, and the medics were trying to give them CPR, and they was flipping them over, and like they was literally turning black and blue. Like I never seen death in my fucking life, bro. Just by me alone, it was probably like 10 fucking people laid out dead. And like once the medics tried to help them, they wasn't responding. They moved to the next person. It was nothing they could have do. Like this shit really fucked me up and like really spooked me tonight. Like that was like some demonic shit. Like, and what was so crazy, like people were screaming help, trying to tell Travis Scott. They was like help. The whole crowd was just going like help, help, help. And he just kept going, bro. It was like that shit was scary, bro. It was so demonic, bro. And mind you, y'all see the type of music I make. Y'all see everything. Like, you know, like I've been so heavily influenced by Travis, but like after tonight, bro, like God really showed me, like, you know, like, stay away from that shit, bro. Like, that shit not for you, because, like, he sacrificed so many people's lives tonight, like, for real. Like, so many people's lives are gone tonight because they want to go to a fucking Travis Scott concert and have fun. You know, he influenced people to be raging and all this shit. So many people broke in, and it was just chaos, bro. It was a living fucking hell, bro. Imagine seeing all those dead bodies, and that was just by me.
I know a lot of people have a lot of questions, and they question a lot of things, and they have their doubts. Nobody could make this up. I want to let y'all know, I want to tell you, it's impossible for people to make this up.
And I see a lot of people asking, were you there? But they don't know, like, do you mind telling them the situation?
Yeah, okay, so, oh gosh, I read, like, I don't want to say no names.
You don't have to say a name, but, you know.
Yeah. Okay. So, we have a family member that was a victim right there, you know, and I'm pretty sure almost everybody knows who she is. And, the situation was just so horrible. We, you know, what can I say? The mom, the dad, the immediate family, like the parents and, like the grandparents, they are not going to talk. Nobody's going to talk. Everybody's just so upset. Everybody's just so mad. Yeah. I know that Travis already offered to pay everything, but they still refused to talk to him. They didn't want to talk to him, and I can tell you that firsthand. They are not trying to talk to him. They're not trying to hear what he has to say, because in reality, I mean, what can you say? At this point, I feel like he's gonna try to do things to kind of make it better, but at the end of the day, he knows he messed up. Like nobody wants nothing to do with him anymore. Yeah. Or with anybody. And none of these famous people that are sending messages and they're trying to talk to people, to the witnesses or the people that have seen, or either the ones that were looking at the concert online or the people that were there, you know. Nobody really wants to talk, and even a lot of people that was there, a lot of witnesses that were there, at this point they're so scared, and they're making it weird for us. They really are. Things are, yeah.
I seen the other day on my camera that somebody was knocking on the door, and then, you know, like, you know, we have cameras on top of the house, so I seen he had the phone, and he was walking out, and he kind of recorded my plate and went down the street, and he didn't even live over there.
Yeah, that was weird. I seen it and I was like, what in the world is going on? Like, why would he be there trying to you know, see your plates or anything? I mean, just what happened today, what I was telling you earlier, my car got stolen, and I mean, I live in a gated community. I live in a gated community.
She woke up, y'all, and her car is gone. Her car is gone.
And I'm like, okay, this has got to be a joke. I started asking everybody that I could ask, like, by any reason, that it seems so crazy. But I was like, has anybody, you know, seen my car? And they were laughing. They were thinking that maybe I was messed up last night or something. And I was like, no, I'm serious. And we have we have 2 police guards there 24/7. And they said they didn't see anything. So whoever stole the car knew how to steal cars without the alarm going off and all of that stuff. So it was a really hard morning when I woke up and I seen that I couldn't take my kids to school. But I just decided to stay on the positive side because it's just so much going on that if you allow yourself to fall into that negativity, like really mentally, you could get affected.
Yeah, and I even seen a few messages where people say like the floor opened up. I didn't see that personally, but even people saying like the middle was open and like they was falling inside, like a whole, I don't know.
Well, look, if you look at the very last post that I posted on my page, you know, that's an air view, like the helicopters taking the pictures. So, you know, they were trying to clean up, but then the FBI came in and said, hey, it's a homicide scene, so nobody can touch it. But you can tell so much clothes and shoes is right there on the floor. Like, how you gonna say that is 8 victims? Like, I don't get, like, it don't go through my mind. Like, you can see it's all over. It's all over. And then on that side, the side to the right, they had already cleaned it and power washed the floor. Like, and I wonder how many people got injured, because they don't want to talk about all the people that's injured. Like,
that's how you know something isn't right, because you would think logically, okay, Travis Scott threw a concert, things didn't go right, people died. Let's shut it down. Let everybody come in. Let's investigate. Let's get these bodies out of here. Let's get these bodies to the people. And, you know, we're going to investigate what was the problem. But they try to cover it up. So you can't not be blind and say, like, this stuff don't exist and these people don't exist. Because they trying to cover it up. What's the cover up? If people died, okay, people died. Let them get compensated. We're going to put it on the news. But, I mean, that's not what happened. It's just not what happened.